Hello everyone, myself Pranay Sarkar and you are watching ChemPro YouTube channel. Please watch the complete video and don't skip. I promise you will get extra and learn the topic like never before. Today our topic is trend of G values in ESR spectroscopy. Then let's start. Trends of G values in ESR spectroscopy. Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss that the three trends of G values in ESR spectroscopy. First one is G parallel greater than G perpendicular greater than GE. Second one is G perpendicular greater than G parallel greater than GE. And third one is G parallel equal to G perpendicular equal to GE. So this is a very important topic from ESR spectroscopy, and several types of important questions are asked in CSIR, NET and GATE exam. Okay, so first of all we have to know what is G. So here the G is nothing but the Lande splitting factor. Okay, this is the Lande splitting factor, and we can just say that the G values in ESR is nothing like that the chemical shift of NMR spectroscopy. Okay, so for free electron, that is the G E value is 2.0023. Okay, and this G value depends on the electron density around nucleus. Okay, so we can say that if we increase the electron density if increase, then the G value will also increase. Okay, so along with the GE we also have two other G values, that is G parallel and G perpendicular. So for this G parallel and G perpendicular we have to take Cartesian coordinates, that is xy and z coordinates. So here it is the x coordinate, this is y coordinate and this is z coordinate, and we will assume that here it is a orbital along the z axis, and these are two orbitals along the x axis and the y axis. Okay, and we all know that the external magnetic field is applied from the z axis or along the z axis. Okay, this is the external magnetic field B0. Okay, so here we can see that this orbital along z axis is just the parallel to the external magnetic field. Okay, it's just the parallel to the external magnetic field. So we can say the G parallel is nothing but the G values parallel to the z axis or along to the z axis or along z axis. Okay, and from here we can see that this orbital along the x and y axis is just the perpendicular to the external magnetic field. Okay, is perpendicular to the external magnetic field. So we can say the G perpendicular value is nothing but the G values perpendicular to the z axis. Okay, so basically the concept arises from the Chern-Taylor distortion. Okay, and we all know the Chern-Taylor distortion. So the Chern-Taylor distortion is of two types. So first one is static Chern-Taylor distortion and second one is dynamic Chern-Taylor distortion. Okay, and this static Chern-Taylor distortion is of two types. That is, first one is Z out and second one is Z in Chern-Taylor distortion. And here we will take a system of Cu2 plus, that is a D9 system, for our discussion. Okay, for our discussion, okay. So here it is a Z out type of Chern-Taylor distortion. Okay, and we all know the axial bonds of a octahedral system is elongated here. Okay, and for that the z orbital or the orbitals along z axis or in between or the interaction with the z axis are relaxed here and stabilized here. Okay, so this is the configuration for the Z out type of Chern-Taylor distortion. And as we discussed that the orbitals along the Z axis will form the G parallel value and the orbitals along the X and Y axis will give the ZG perpendicular value. And we all discussed earlier that the G value depends upon the electron density. Okay, so here the G parallel has 2 electron and G perpendicular has 1 electron, so the interaction is higher in the G parallel. So the trend here will be G parallel greater than G perpendicular greater than GE. Okay, so this is the first trend for Z out type of Chern-Taylor distortion. And now the second one is Z in Chern-Taylor distortion. So here the axial bonds are contracted and the interaction along the z axis is quite bit high and they are destabilized. So this is the configuration of Z in type of Chern-Taylor distortion. So from dz square we can get the G parallel value and from this we can get the G perpendicular values. Okay, and as we all know the G value depends on the electron density. Okay, electron density. So here 2 electrons and here 1 electron. Okay, so we can easily say that here the G perpendicular value is higher than the G parallel value, so this will satisfy the second trend or second condition, that is G perpendicular greater than G parallel greater than GE. Okay, so this is the second trend or the second condition. Now here we have the trend for dynamic Chern-Taylor distortion. Okay, dynamic Chern-Taylor distortion, and we all know that for dynamic Chern-Taylor distortion the Z out and Z in type of Chern-Taylor distortion will be at first exchange. Okay, will be at first exchange. So we cannot say where the interaction is more. Okay, because of the Z out type of Chandler distortion and Z in type of Chandler distortion are in first exchange, so we cannot say where the interaction is more. So we can just say that the G parallel equal to G perpendicular equal to GE, because for the first exchange we can also say that the electrons are localized here. Okay, electrons are localized. So here we can have the third trend of the G value, or the third condition, that is G parallel equal to G perpendicular equal to GE. Okay, so now here we have the question from NET December 2019. So what is the question says? The question says that for an octahedral Cu complex, that is D9 complex, depicting axial EPR spectrum, and it will say that G parallel greater than G perpendicular, and the geometry of Cu and the orbital containing the unpaired electron. Okay, so the given is G parallel greater than G perpendicular. Okay, so we all discussed earlier that this is from the what Z out type of Chandler distortion. Okay, and we can say that Z out means this is tetragonal elongation. Okay, that is, this is the tetragonal elongation. Okay, the axial bonds are elongated here. Okay, this is tetragonal elongation, and for this the electronic configuration will be, or the orbital will be like this. Here it will be the x square minus y square, this is dz square, this is dxy, and these two orbitals are dxz and dyz, and the electrons will be like this. Okay, like this. So the unpaired electron is in the d x square minus y square orbital. Okay, in this x square minus y square orbital. So we have the correct option like this. Okay, tetragonally elongated, and the unpaired electrons are in dx square minus y square. Thanks for watching the complete video. If you really enjoyed, please like the video and subscribe the channel to motivate me, and hit the bell icon to get all the notifications. And if you have any suggestion or query, please comment down below.